The final battle the final battle had come as Siegfried no, sorry. The final battle had come as Damien and Kirsten fought off against Calvin King Colo. Calvin King Colo, the Lord of Chaos, was about to do something and embark in a great event that no one would ever saw coming. During the battle was completely one-sided because Damien's actions was beating back the King Colo forces and beating up the strongest officers, Dale, Zillion, Zaboyan, and all the rest of them. And with Delcon as well, and 15 of them were there, and Trust was there, and Kirsten of them were there as well. And everyone was fighting. And Colo being beat back until King Colo went himself, fought Damien, and surprisingly, and defeated Damien with a slash. The universe, dimensions, the land paused in shock. Damien was defeated. Being exhausted from the fight with his dark side, he did not realize that he needed rest first before he go into battle. And this flaw came too late. He was defeated, and with his defeat, King Colo declared victory. The Clifton ran away, scared that their neutrality was now in danger of being threatened by King Colo. But King Colo became arrogant and saw the slaying of Damien means that no one was strong enough to even oppose him. And so King Colo returned to the issue anti-Raythora and claimed his dominance over the entire universe. Gersner met with Caratan again during this fight. They had a brief discussion about life, but began to fight one another because they were opposite sides. And this was a good time for Caratan to get back at him for killing his cousin Coop. So, yeah, but Gersner escaped. And seeing how much King Colo, although they won, suffered in the hands of Damien alone and other troops. Sonata, the Telecon leader, decided now was the time to avenge her brother, as Sarah Long had recovered from his injuries and began to stage a rebellion. But Sean was like, no, we can't do this. Him and his a personal friend and advisor, Gray Samson, was like, no, we don't have enough strength to do that. King Colo was much larger, and what happened the last time? We can't do this. And Susan was like, no, we gotta do this. And so she launched a rebellion from the the hillside castle, and made it to the gates of Ishu. Then the navy, was led by Bashan, came and assisted blocking the water. As the gates were coming through, Del was in the center, and Susan and Erlong went to front of Del, but Del ended up getting killed. But he got killed. He took down here along with him. And Susan also was stuck in the middle of the field, alone, as the troops couldn't get to her in time. And then Caratan shot Susanna in the back from a distance and killed her instantly. The Telecon lost again, and Bashan and Gray Samson were new leaders of the Telecon, even smaller troop, as the rest of the troops were banished from the dimensions. And so Bashan, having lost his entire family and all his friends to the King Colo, became low and humbled and discontented with the whole notion of King Colo. It was this time that Kersner had to convince Clifton that one last shot to destroy King Colo for good. However, Clifton was not sure. Then news got out that Damien was actually not at full strength when he died, and arrogance had set in on both sides. Now that same spirit of arrogance was over Calvin King Colo, as he now declared victory over the entire universe. Clifton was unsure, but he himself would stay back and send the minor troops and all the natural troops Naturalist troops went with Kurzner. During this time, Kurzner sent an envoy to Bashan, who had lost so much to King Kalub, and yet was still alive. He convinced Bashan that his destiny was not to servitude as King Kalub, but to avenge his fallen and become something more. Bashan, who is a master of the double swords, double long swords that curve at the tips, that curved upward, so he had to hold the swords in the back of him and run with him, and the swords would often clash in the ground and even sparks, and Gray Samson with a fire tiger sword, and he moves, the sword catches on fire and burns the enemies and all the rest of that stuff. Bashan seek counsel from Gray Samson, who said Kurzner and his forces, if what they say is true, and Calvin Kinkolo is indeed not as strong as we thought, and since his sister defeated Del and their forces during her attempt to overthrow him, the Kinkolo, if he decide to leave, would be greatly in danger of actually falling this time. And so Bashan was reluctant, as he heard both sides, but he decided to stay neutral and not do anything until a particular point of the battle. Kurzner and his men arrived in Lishu, going past the front gates of Lishu, went to the true side of Lishu, the front side of Lishu, got past the castle wall and castle on the hilltop, and fastened forward to the corridor where the naval docks were, the harbor where Bashan was. Constantine had ordered the Telecons to attack, as they were perfect line to destroy and stop Kurzner from getting to the center square and getting to his cousin. Bashan at this point had to make a choice: continue to be a slave or free himself, join Kurzner, and defy his own destiny. Bashan made a decision. He launched the boats to fire. The cannons went out. Kurzner thought that they was going to be attacked, but suddenly the cannons switched direction and blew up the gates. All the gates of the left wing, the right wing, and the center. The gates were opened. Bashan had made the way clear for Kurzner and his forces. So Kurzner and his forces, the coalition charged, and Gray Samson got the word and helped to advance his troops to stop the Kinkolo as well. With this, Taratine, Constantine, Sonia, and all the rest of them at the ends. But Kurzner let Caradine down easy, because he was a friend, and decided to let him go. And then Bashan then was moving forward along with Kurzner into Lishu, where they stopped at a certain point, like Kurzner went to face Kinkolo and Lishu castle. And after slaying the top brass of the Kinkolo forces, Kurzner and Calvin Kinkolo clashed. Calvin Kinkolo was stunned and shocked by all these treachery going on in his forces. It wasn't involved with that. He would have won at Kurzner, and he told Kurzner was nothing but an opportunist, and if his Kinkolo armies were strong and all of them were completely loyal to him, Kurzner would not stand a chance. Kurzner had to admit this was a fact, but he said that this was a work of heaven, and that heaven itself is against the Kinkolo name. And so Kinkolo was slain, the Kinkolo banner and name was finished, and Kurzner finally, at last, since the days after the fall of Anjosika, wanted power so badly, now had the entire universe in his hands. In his hands.